Hi, I am Jai Prakash, lecturer from Computer Science and Engineering Department, Government Polytechnic for Women, Bengaluru. So, let us start the Unit 2 of Green Computing. The Unit 2 subject is the green devices and the hardware with green software. Okay? Green devices and the hardware. So, the hardware components of the computers has been an intrinsic part of our life. Okay, we are regularly using the computers, so these are affecting the environment by utilizing the energy and also the disposable methods. The electronic devices have become an intrinsic part of our life. The device provides the convenience of faster and better and access to the people, information and services. The downside is their negative impact on the available resources and our environment. So it has a negative impact on the environment, so that it will affect the nature. The number of computers and other electronic devices in use has been increasingly exponentially, and never newer, more powerful devices continue to replace the older version. So, in today's world, the, the upgraded version of the computers and the laptops has been coming. Okay, it is going to replace the older version. This has lead to the very shortfall lifetime of the devices, leaving it behind a trail of obsolete devices. So, we are going to replace the older version. So, newer versions are coming. So, the older version should be replaced in a proper way. Otherwise, e-waste will happen. So let us see the life cycle of devices or hardware. A green devices can be built by concentrated effort at every stage of the device life cycle from the moment of the device is started. So when the device is manufactured, its life cycle starts. Okay, to the development time when it is used and recycled or disposed. So until from the start stage to disposable stage, the life cycle of the device will occur. The typical life cycle of the devices are, it consists of five stages. First one, the design phase, the manufacturing facilities phase, the packaging and transportation phase, the usage phase, the reuse or disposable phase. So these are the five phases of a life of the devices. So first one is the design phase. So actually in the design phase, we will design how the component should be in a designed in a proper way. Okay. In the case of manufacturing phase, we're going to manufacture according to the design process. The way how to manufacture is mentioned in the design phase. And then after manufacturing, we are going to packaging and transportation. Transportation phase will occur. Okay. The packaging occurs and also we will transport the device to the different locations. And then the usage of the components. And then finally the reuse and disposable methods. So in all these case, the the green is going to be get affected. So what are the steps to be taken in order to make the environment green, in order to utilize the IT products in a proper way? That is the main concern of our green IT. First, we start with design phase. So what is design stage? Okay, in the design stage, the idea is conceptualized and the device is designed, prototyped, and tested. There are several steps in the design process. When the device gets into the design stage, a set environment targets and should be done in parallel to conceptualization. Targets acts as a benchmark and helps in decision making. So we will decide how the design of the component should be made, and it should not affect the nature, and there should be a minimized utilization of the component, so that the energy should be saved, the component should be saved. At the same time, it should not affect the nature. As the device is being prototyped, we need to continuously access the prototypes, design and improve it until the targets are achieved. So the design phases, you look into the stages so that at each stage it should not affect the nature, and the design should be in a proper way and it should be improved time to time. The design changes have to be implemented and the prototype has to be assessed again for environmental impacts. This process should go on until the device meets the environmental target sets for the device. So whatever the protocol that we have implemented, it should be assessed again and again, so that we should have a minimal impact on the environment. It should not affect the nature. So the design phase is the major concern because the life cycle starts with the design phase. So the design should be done in a proper way. So these are the components of the design phase. So the design phase includes the conceptualize. So concept, initially we are going to we have to know the concept of how to design the product. That is the main. So you have to conceptualize the manufacture, the idea of the design, and then design and prototype. You have to make a prototype how the design should come. Okay, how the design of the component should come, and then finally the design is created. So this is how the design process will starts. Next, set environmental targets. So whatever the design we have made, we have to set some targets so that it should not affect the environment, and then access and improve. So whatever the targets we have achieved, day by day the design can be edited so that it should improve the efficiency so that it should not affect the nature. The design meets the standards. The design should follow the standards and the rules and regulations so that it should not affect the nature. At the same time, the minimization of the components. The environmental design supplements will occur. Okay. Next, the concepts and target. So both the concepts and the target simultaneously should be applied in the design phase, because the concepts and the target what we have think should be achieved, and then map the life cycle. So the life cycle is decided by design phase. So the concept and the targets are combined. Next, identify the environmental impacts. So when it is combined, whatever the effect that is what is occurred by the component is identified by the environmental impacts. Okay, and then make the design decision. So what are the changes you want to make, you can change the component decision. Okay, and next, design meets standards. Finally, the component design is set and it is meet the standards what it is required. Okay, the diagram shows the typical steps in the design process. When the device gets into the design stage, the first step should be set the environment targets for it. So we have to set the targets. So how should not we should not affect the nature. Setting the environmental targets should be done in parallel to the conceptualization. So according to the concept, the environmental target should also mapped at the same time. These targets can be derived from the device environmental objectives and also based on environmental impact assessment reports of similar devices that are in the market. So assessment report can be accessed in the market so that should not affect the environment. These form a minimum set of targets that the device has to meet when released to the market. These targets should have a benchmark and should help the decision making while designing the device. So while designing the device, we have a target, so should not affect the environment. So based upon the environmental objects, we are going to set the targets. As a device is being prototyped, one of the goals should be meet all the environmental targets that have been set. So whatever the environmental targets has been set, it should be achieved. To achieve this, we need continuously access the prototype. So prototypes are the rules and regulations, what it need to be followed while designing phase. So we need to follow the benchmark and also we need to follow the target so that we should have a minimal impact on the environment. Thank you.